What's going on, guys? Crispy here. So this video is going to be all about mobilizing your hips for the squat and teaching you how you take the different exercises I've shown you and actually apply them properly to get yourself some increased or rather accelerated progress in your mobility. So I know a lot of people struggle in terms of they just don't seem to be able to open their squat up so it feels comfortable, or those last few inches in the squat they seem to kind of fall apart a little bit. So that's what we're going to solve today. Before we get into that though, I want to tell you about the little challenge and free giveaway of some t-shirts we've got going at Poke Apparel. So basically what we came out with, and our brilliant sort of resident artist Emma managed to hit us up with the Squirtle, War Turtle and Blastoise sort of trilogy, that evolution, with all of them hitting a progressively heavier sort of squat variation. So what we thought we'd do is put a squat challenge out for you guys to win it. So I won't talk too much about the details of it. I'll put the link in the description to the video demoing it. You can go to our Facebook page, you can see some of the other shirts on offer, and you can see that other people have entered the challenge. You've still got plenty of time to enter it this week. We're going to choose a winner in about sort of a week, maybe 10 days, depending on how many entries we get. And then, if you like anything else on the site, please go check it out and grab yourself something off the Shopify account, which is also linked to our Facebook page. So anyway, let's get into the mobility stuff. Okay guys, so the main problem I'm seeing with most of you is when you're actually trying to warm your hips up and open them up for your squats, is you're doing a lot of this kind of stuff here. So really focusing on stretching this back leg or doing the couch stretch, you know, you've got your sort of foot up on the back wall. This is all good stuff because it's opening up and creating general mobility and flexibility in the quad, the upper quad, the hip flexors, and some of the muscles in the deep abdominals, which is good, you need to do it. But when we talk about specific mobility, things that are going to give us the biggest bang for our buck, this isn't a position that our leg is in the most challenging part of the squat. What happens in the most challenging part of the squat is the knee is completely flexed, the ankle is completely flexed, and our knees are pushed out. So if you know anything about what this knee out position means, it means external rotation from the hip. So just to demo that quickly, your glutes turn the hip outwards, they externally rotate it. That's why everyone harps on about glute strength and glute function when it comes to squats and other different leg movements. Your hip flexors internally rotate the hip. Now this is still a very important position to have, a very important ability to have, but it's detrimental to your squat if you're so internally rotated and so strong and tight in that position that your knees kind of look like this when you get into the bottom. And all that does, unless you're very mobile in the ankles and the quads, it means you'll have to round over to achieve your position. So this is me with my knees in, like over my big toe. Now if I push my knees out, now my back becomes flat because I've got room to sit between my hips and I'm not having to borrow the range of motion from my low back to make up for that lack of hip movement. So easiest way to actually open up your hip, still start with your hip flexor stretch like this, or even grabbing here and opening up the quad as well. But then, after you've pulsed here a few times, so let's say you go like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? You're then going to grab the front foot, making sure you keep a flat back, drive your back hip into the floor so you're really forcing this knee forwards. Then you're going to grab a hold of the foot, and you're just going to start creating circles with the knee. So all I'm trying to imagine is that with my knee, I'm trying to draw a capital D. So my right knee is going forwards, out and around, forwards, out and around. So I'm literally scraping through the hip joint. And then you progress on to literally trying to touch the knee to the floor. So going here, I'm trying to push it all the way out and down to the floor. And if you keep the foot pinned down, you get even more of a stretch, just due to the torque you put on the hip. And then you can slowly start, instead of just pushing out, start leaning away with the upper body. Now all that's doing is creating room in your hip flexors to actually rotate outwards. So now, I feel like my squat position is quite good, but even I feel more comfortable after doing that. So the main thing is to make sure you stretch your hips in such a way that gives you more external rotation. So that's one of the biggest bangs for your bucks I can give you. Another simple one is simply just a 90-90 box stretch. So when you're sitting with the legs at 90-degree angle, and you're just opening up the back and the hips by doing this. So keeping the back flat, just really trying to sit into your hips. And those are literally the simplest things you can do to actually start making your hip stretches a lot more efficient.